Hey guys, this is Mal, co-host of the 13 Rings and NFC East podcast. Before you listen to this episode, I wanted to remind you all to please make sure you like and subscribe to us on any platform that you are listening on today. We rely and value your support in order to continue providing you with the best NFC East content. We appreciate you all, and we hope that you enjoy the podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome back to 13 Rings and NFC East podcast. I'm your host with Lucas, here with Mal, Maurice, and Earl, and we are finishing up our Mount Rushmores for this offseason. Technically, we're kind of in preseason now. I would say almost there, right, guys?
Yep.
But last but not least, we're going with Mal's Giants. Mal, are you excited?
Yeah, I love talking about the Giants, guys.
Mm-hmm. I believe it. That's why you're on the pod. But let's go ahead and jump into this. And by the way, we're glad that you're back. We've missed you.
Yes.
I missed you guys too. It's really good to be back. You know, I'm back from my 2-week hiatus. Let's do it, guys.
We all took off that first week, though.
That's true.
Yes.
So it's a 1-week hiatus, but
yes, 1 week hiatus. Yes.
All right. Well, I'm gonna start with my Giants quarterback, Mount Rushmore, and then we're gonna get your guys' takes on it, and then you're gonna tell me yours. So, you know who I'm gonna start with. Number 1, Eli Manning. Eli Manning won 2 Super Bowls with us, 2 Super Bowl MVPs, 4-time Pro Bowler. Just really became a legend within the franchise. He had a rough beginning there and a little bit of a rough ending, but Eli started with that first Super Bowl victory in Super Bowl 42, defeating the undefeated Tom Brady and the New England Patriots.
Twice.
And he led 2 game-winning drives in both Super Bowls. Also beat the Patriots in 1946. So Eli's my number 1
he
on
beat
there.
the Patriots in 1946?
No, I'm sorry, Super Bowl 46. Sorry.
I was about to say, did he
Super
pull a
Bowl
quantum leap on
46, Super Bowl 42, 46, beat the Patriots both times. In his career with us, Eli Manning had 366 touchdowns and a total of 57,023 passing yards. So he was pretty legit for us. So that's my number 1. Do you guys want to comment now, or should I just keep going?
Just go through. We'll comment when we get to our own list. Yeah, keep on
Sounds good. All right. So now number 2 on my list is quarterback Phil Simms, 2-time Super Bowl champion, 2-time Pro Bowl. With us, he had 199 touchdowns and 33,462 passing yards. So Phil Simms, you know, same amount of Super Bowls as Eli, but I feel like Eli kind of had that clutch gene. That's why I kind of put him above Phil Simms there. My third, which technically is not true, but because I had to pick one from the Super Bowl era, my third, I have Kerry Collins. As of 2018, Kerry Collins held 7 Giants franchise records.
That's impressive.
Yeah, he had the most passing yards in a playoff game, which was 381. The most passing touchdowns in a playoff game, which were 5. This one wasn't so good, but most intercepted, 6. Best passer rating in a game. He also had most yards in a game and most pass yards in a playoff game. And then most 300-plus yard passing games in playoffs also, which was tied with Eli Manning for 2.
There you go.
Yeah, so Collins was pretty big for us too. And then for the 4th that I had Jeff Hostetler. He played with us from 1984 to 1992, primarily a backup, only played in 5 games, but became a Super Bowl champion and led that win against the heavily favored Bills that year. So he kind of stepped in for Phil Simms when Simms went down. Hostetler had his own issues with injuries and stuff, but ultimately stepped right in, came in clutch, won that Super Bowl. Can't really leave him off of there. So those are my guys, my top 4. What do you got, Maurice? You're up next.
All right. So before we go any further, because this is a hot topic for Earl's Mount Rushmore, we got to state this was Super Bowl era only quarterbacks.
Yes.
Yep.
Because some Cowboys fans on Facebook, they were getting at us.
They were ripping us apart there a little bit.
A little bit.
They'll get over it.
But that just means that they read our content, and we appreciate you guys.
They do. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we do. We really do. The only exception I had, I would have took out Collins. I would have put Fran Tarkenton in.
Interesting. Out Collins? Okay.
Yeah, I would have took out, because Fran Tarkenton's a Hall of Famer, 9-time Pro Bowler.
Yes, that is true.
Now, he had, with the Giants, he was a 4-time Pro Bowler. Now, didn't win a championship, but
a very good player.
He was a very good player and a Hall of Famer too. So
yeah,
the Pro Bowls, the Hall of Fame, I would have put in Fran Tarkenton over Kerry Collins.
That's completely fair. I totally get that, and I was kind of thinking that too. I was just more so thinking in terms of like what Kerry kind of did with all the records that he broke for the Giants, and like what in terms of like the franchise.
Mm-hmm.
But no, you're 100% right.
Was he your honorable mention?
He was definitely my honorable mention.
Okay.
Definitely. And the only reason I put Hostetler above him was because of the championship.
Okay. So I guess I'm up next. I'll deviate as well a little bit. Eli and Phil, those are the easy ones. I actually had Kerry Collins in there. You think of Giants football in the early, before the Eli era, you think of Kerry Collins. Kerry Collins was probably, I mean, granted, his run wasn't that long. He only played, what was it? He had a record of 35-33, but one of the few winning records of above with players who had more than like 20 wins for the franchise. So that's something to keep in mind when doing this. He's actually the fourth most winningest quarterback in franchise history for you guys. So I have Kerry Collins third on my list, and fourth I actually went with Tarkenton as well. Even though he has a losing record for you guys, just the sheer numbers is something to keep. I mean, look, he had 103 touchdowns. I think there's only 3 other quarterbacks that had more in franchise history. One of them we can't use because pre-Super Bowl era stuff, but technically Tarkenton made most of his name with the Minnesota Vikings, but still, he had a good, solid run with the Giants, even though he didn't have a winning record. It was close. And, I'm sure the Giants were going through something at that time. I don't know what, because it was like the late 60s, early 70s, but still. That's who my 4 are.
That's fair. Earl, what do you got?
1 and 2, I have Eli Manning and Phil Simms as automatic. 3, I actually have Frank Tarkenton. And 4, it was a toss-up between Kerry Collins and Hostetler. I actually chose Hostetler because he played in that key Super Bowl against the Bills. I feel like if he made the mistake that he did in the Super Bowl when Bruce Smith tried to sack him to try to take the ball out of his hands and he held on to the ball, I think that would have been the change in pace where the Giants would have lost that game. But for him to be able to hold on to that ball and also lead the Giants down to get the score that they needed to win the Super Bowl, I gave him the edge over that. But Kerry Collins was definitely a strong 4th for me, but he's under the honorable mention.
It seems like we all kind of had a mix of 5 there.
I think this is probably the most controversial one because there isn't a clear 3 and 4 for the Giants. Yeah. Which means that just means that when you guys hit a home run. It's just, how often do you hit a home run?
I mean, post Super Bowl era, it worked out, but we're here now.
Yeah, we're here now with the Danny Dips, as Earl likes to call.
Danny Dimes. I don't know if he'll make his way up there one day, but he's got a lot of work to do.
Well, I mean, he is 8th in wins so far, but he also is about 14 games below 500. So
right, so he's got some work to do.
Yes, he does. And I think unless, Mal, so just recap your Mount Rushmore real quick, and then we'll move on.
Yeah, so my Giants quarterback, Mount Rushmore, is Eli Manning, Phil Simms, Kerry Collins, and Jeff Hostetler.
And on that note, I give the ball to Earl. Earl, take it away.
Roger that. We have the NFC East team news, and we're going to kickstart this with Mal. Do you have any team news dealing with the Giants?
Yeah, so as you guys know, training camp's underway. First preseason game literally in 24 hours for the New York Giants. Like, that is exciting stuff, guys. We made it. We are back. I know it's like, I know it's preseason, but we're one step closer to football, and we're only about like a month away, right?
Yeah, about a month
we're
away.
Close.
Is
Here.
Is Daniel Jones going to be playing in the first preseason game?
I don't know if there's been anything said about that. I don't think they said anything about that yet.
It's a really bad trend going around. Like teams
a
are
lot
just
of
not
starters
playing.
are not.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man.
I know
one team that's going to be playing their starter this weekend.
Well, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Who's that?
Maurice, I think the Eagles are playing the Ravens for their first preseason game, right?
Yes, Friday night at Baltimore.
Word.
Battle of the Birds.
Hey, Lucas. Who?
Oh, it's not my turn yet, sir. I'm not going to say.
But yeah, let me get back to the Giants real quick before we get into that big discussion because we got plenty of time for it, guys. So Giants have been having joint practices with the Lions, and honestly, they've been battling it out. Like last year, we got smacked in the mouth by the Lions. We were not ready at all, but it's actually looked a lot more competitive. Malik Neighbors was 17 for 18 when thrown to, which is kind of crazy. He looks good. I'm trying not to buy into the hype too much, guys, because you know me, I can't really hurt myself like that again. But he looks good, and the connection between him and Daniel looks good, and the defensive line looks really good. The only thing that's still rather questionable from what I've seen is the secondary is still kind of, there's a lot of question marks, but we'll see how that kind of plays out. Offensive line, we have Jermaine Illuminor at right tackle, so a lot of the beat reporters think that this might be the end for Evan Neal. And
it was bound to happen.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. I mean, he's on the PUP list now, but I just don't foresee him winning that job back once he comes back. I just don't see it. And the one thing I want to talk to you guys about, which I kind of thought was hilarious. So the Giants and the Lions have been fighting all week.
I'm glad that you brought that up because you said they got hit in the mouth last year, but this year they literally got hit in the mouth probably.
Yeah, they literally just been fighting, and the NFL fined us and the Lions $200,000 each because of the fights.
I mean, if it happens once, that's one thing. But you guys have had how many fights?
Oh, there were a lot. I think there was at least 3. I think there were 3 the first day and then 5 the second day. We were just fighting the whole entire time, which listen, in the end, they shouldn't be acting like that. You got to be professional and you got to just focus, and it's practice. I appreciate the competitive edge. So I will say, this is the first time that I've actually seen the Giants get scrappy. Most of the time they don't do that. So, and Daniel Jones asserting himself into a fight, that was funny.
Yeah, I got a new nickname for him now.
What is it?
Danny Drops. Danny Drops.
He didn't drop. He stood up.
No.
Actually,
he'd be dropping other people. He'd be dropping
Danny Pops.
Oh, I like that one better. Danny Pops.
I know, it's like the beard. He grows out the beard, the leg sleeve, and just turns into a different person. I honestly thought it was so funny. But what do you guys think about the fighting in training camp? Do you agree with the NFL? Do you think that they should show a little bit of fire? What do you guys think about all that? Because fighting happens. These guys are highly competitive. It's just a matter of to what extent.
Every year.
Go ahead. No. You go ahead.
Every year, the NFL gets a little bit softer. Why are we fighting people? And it's not like it was actually punches thrown, people got knocked out. They were wearing helmets. And not only they were wearing helmets, they were wearing the helmets with the protective bubble over.
Yeah, they were wearing the padded helmets.
Yeah, it's not even really a fight. It's a like Earl said, a squabble. Yeah.
They squabbling out here. Yeah.
200 grand. Come on now, man. Disappointing.
Yeah, I think they need to shift their anger towards making sure that they're fixing what they need to within themselves, but to be able to be coherent as a team. I think being able to scrap with other teams, that doesn't really get the point across on how you can execute as a unit. And I think the Giants should have had leaders to be able to step in and be like, all right, cut that out, to at least assert where I'm not sure if they have it. If they do, I'm wrong. But for that, the leader definitely needed to come in to step into that to make sure things didn't get hostile with that. 3 fights in one practice? Yeah, no, that's a no-no. And then on top of that, you're losing money due to it. If you let the other team talk, let them talk. Beat them out in the scrimmage. Flex your muscles. Pop out and show them respectfully.
Say it with
And
your chest.
exactly.
Yeah.
And basically show them out in the scrimmage and then grab your lunch pail and roll out. You shouldn't be throwing your hands at other people because that also can have immediate injury to the player itself because they're throwing punches. They hit one of the helmets, the face mask the wrong way, boom, swollen fingers. And so on. Like someone could have legitimately got hurt. Daniel Jones going in there trying to fight. This man's coming off an injury. So you definitely got to protect your prized possession in your quarterback and so on from that. So I'm just saying that leadership should just step in and be like, hey, guys, cut it out. We're not kids. We out here doing business. Handle it out on the field and so on from that. But I digress with that.
Well, going off of that point, Earl, I wanted to bring something else up to you guys because this has kind of been a big talking point amongst, like, with Hard Knocks coming out. Malik Neighbors, rookie first-round wide receiver from LSU. You know, Dable apparently drafted him because he liked his fiery, competitive attitude. And you know that Dable has his issues with getting too worked up and screaming. And, you know, we've seen Neighbors in college. He kind of, you know, has a chip on his shoulder, you know, whatever it is. So a lot of Giants fans, or from ones that I've seen, are getting a little worried that he may turn into another Odell situation. The drama, the fighting, the dramatics. What is your guys' opinion on that?
I think it's too early to tell. I think Odell was definitely more diva-ish. I don't see Neighbors diva. I see him. I don't think it's going to be the diva type of situation you had with Odell. I think Neighbors, if anything, it might be more of a like keep your cool type deal. Like he can't keep his cool, but I don't think it's going to be like a diva-ish type thing that Odell had because Odell, yeah, he was a bit of a diva. I mean, I don't know if you can still count him as a diva now where he's at in his career, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, with Odell, I think the really biggest moment I saw from Odell is when Josh Norman shut him down when he was in
That
New
was
York.
that was a bad
And
fight.
that game, I saw Odell's true colors. It was like Norman got under this dude's skin and so on. I don't think Neighbors would be to the extent of what Odell was, but this will definitely give him a chance to be able to mature being one of the top receivers with the Giants, where if they're really looking up to him, he's going to really have to take that step to be like a positive influence for the receiving core. I actually did have a question for you, Mal, dealing with how does Jalen Hyatt do in practice? How's he looking?
He's looking pretty good. I've been seeing a lot of film of him catching deep balls from Daniel Jones, Drew Lock. My honest opinion, I think Hyatt's having a great camp. I don't know, and at this point, I never thought I would say this because, you know, with Neighbors now in the picture, I know that the Giants never had an elite wide receiver core, you know, compared to the rest of the division, you know, like with A.J. Brown and Devonta and CD and Cooks and, you know, Terry and Dotson, you know, like, yeah, is Terry better than Dotson? Yes. And is CD better than Cooks? Yes. But as like a core, they were good. Whereas like the Giants never really figured it out. Nobody knew if it was the receivers or if it was the quarterback. And honestly, there's just so much speed in this wide receiver group. I don't know who's going to be wide receiver 2 coming out of camp. I know Neighbors will be one, but, you know, you got Slayton, you got Wandale, you got Jalen Hyatt, you got,
Bryce Ford Wheaton,
you got Isaiah Hodgins. I mean, Hodgins was good for the playoff run where we picked him up for, and I know he's going to have a lesser role. But those top 3 that I mentioned, Wandale, Hyatt, and Slayton, I don't really know how the Giants plan to kind of rank them depth-wise. Because, I mean, Slayton could be a really good wide receiver, too, if he had a good quarterback to, you know, help him out with that. So it all just depends if Daniel can kind of bring out his potential. So, but yes, Hyatt has had a really good camp, Earl, at least in my opinion. I expect him to be used more this year.
Okay. And I have one more point with that, Mal. With Hyatt, Slayton, Wandell, and Neighbors, you basically have 4 solid receivers with raw potential that could be tapped at any point to be able to light up the field, especially with speed and route running. I
Yep.
think with what you guys have, Daniel Jones got to get the ball to these guys some way, shape, or form. But Dable's got to design to get these guys open to be matchup nightmares.
Right.
And I think with what they have, they're solid at receiver. It's just being able to put them in the best position to succeed. So we just got to see
Right.
how it plays out and see how preseason is. But thanks.
No problem. We can move on. Whoever's next.
Well, hang on.
Sorry.
You know who I got to ask about? How is my boy doing in camp?
Honestly, pretty good. Like I said, the receiving core in general is just having a good camp. And it's mainly because Dable is having Jones throw more. When we had Saquon, we weren't throwing as much.
Do you think that Bryce Ford Wheaton's going to make the final 53 roster?
I don't know. It depends on how many wide receivers they put on there.
You
Well,
better.
Like I said,
you name 4 off the top. So if they have a 5th, then yeah. But if not, they could bring him back and put him on the practice squad.
The only way I could see him making it is if he wins the battle over Isaiah Hodgins, which he very well might.
Yeah, I haven't. I heard. I didn't. You guys waive him earlier in the offseason, then re-signed him.
We did, and then we signed him for super cheap.
Yeah. I think that's. But yeah,
he might be. Isaiah Hodgins might be on his way to the practice squad. In all honesty, I haven't really heard much about him this camp. I've heard more about Bryce Ford Wheaton than I've heard about Hodgins. So.
Okay.
And you'll be able to hopefully see more with the preseason game.
Yeah, we'll see more tomorrow for sure.
All right.
The next person is Maurice. Do you have any team news dealing with the Eagles?
Yeah, we got some news. A couple days ago, the Eagles signed Shaquille Quarterman, a linebacker who recently played for the Jacksonville Jaguars. This tells me that they need a little bit more linebacker depth, at least going into the preseason games. Word coming out of camp is the middle linebackers right now are Devin White and Zach Bond. And the person left, Zach Bond.
Okay.
And he was a linebacker. I think I want to say he's from the Saints.
Okay.
So the name left out of that is Nakobe Dean. He's going into his 3rd year linebacker. Last year he had the green dot. He was the middle linebacker. Had injuries, didn't play most of the second half of the year. And his name has not been said much. He's not, I wouldn't say he's not playing up to the par that, at least he can beat out Devin White, who they signed in free agency. So they're looking maybe play him more on the strong side. I don't know. But the Quarterman's signing kind of tells me that they're not 100% sure that Nakobe Dean will be a starter for this team. We will see. We will see about that.
What about Jeremiah Trotter? Is he not in the play for it?
I think he's going to make the team. It's probably only special teams, but from what I've heard out of training camp is he has all of the instincts that you would think a second generation football player would have. It's just the size. He's undersized.
So it's looking like it's going to be a toss-up to either Trotter Jr. or Dean, because with Dean being hurt, it's really hurting his chance.
Well, no. He had injury last season. He's healthy now.
Okay.
But he's just not playing so far in practice up to par, at least with Devin White. So we will see. I think the issue the Eagles have altogether is a lot of their linebackers are so small. And Kobe Dean is 5'10". I want to say Trotter is 5'10" as well. Both are small linebackers. You got. I'm not a fan of small linebackers, but I think both players will make the team. I would be shocked if Nakobe Dean got released going into his third season.
Yeah, I think it might be room for him on special teams if he can't, or be like a rotational linebacker piece. But it just depends.
Yeah, it really does depend. Other news out of training camp is Lucas's boy Johnny Wilson. He's looking good.
I was going to bring that up. Yeah, he's competing for the third wide receiver spot, right?
Yes, he is, and his size is very important. It's a difference maker. I need to see it in preseason.
I told you.
I will definitely be looking forward to that on Friday night when we play the Ravens. His size makes a big difference, and if he can be that other outside receiver because of his height, I could see Devontae Smith playing a little bit more slot. Which, I mean, he's such a great receiver. He can do it. He can do slot. He can be an inside or an outside. It doesn't really matter. But out of Wilson, Paris Campbell, and Anaya Smith, Wilson is a standout right now. He's looking like a standout in training camp right now.
I told you, at that height, he's a steal, a late round pick.
Yeah. And one more news out of training camp is Tyler Steen has had injuries. He's had a couple little nicks and dinks in the last couple weeks. Mekhi Becton is playing right guard, and there's a real battle there. A real battle at right guard. I've never been really high on Steen, so if Becton can get his weight down, and that's a lot. That's a big dude playing inside on the line. Him next to Lane Johnson is scary. That's real scary. So that's going to be I would say the biggest training camp fight going into the week one is Tyler Steen and Mekhi Becton. Who's going to win that position? I don't know, but that's what preseason is for. So we got 3 games to see who wins that spot. So with that, that's it for Eagles news.
Maurice, before we continue, I have a question for you. And
Sure.
I don't want to veer too far off, but I did want to ask you this because I saw it today. So Hassan Reddick literally just won't show up to play for the Jets.
I find that hilarious.
And he actually will be, I think he was fined already $1.2 million. And one of the Jets beat reporters who covers the Giants too is saying that he's now at the point now where even with what he's asking for, he's not going to net any money. And if he misses the next training camp, he goes into literally more negative. Why would he do that?
At that point, he might as well retire or something just to get out of it.
Right.
He might have wanted to stay with Philly.
That's what I'm trying to see. Because I know you know more about him than I do and the whole trade that happened. Do you think he really just doesn't want to play for the Jets? Or
no, I don't think it's money. It's money.
You think so?
Yeah, it's money.
Crazy.
Yeah,
It's just crazy.
It was looking like he was going to hold out with the Eagles before they traded him. Now, I don't know what was going through the mind of Jets GM Joe Douglas to make that trade if you knew he wasn't going to show up without a new contract. I don't know why people are not questioning that. So it's a headache for them. It's not a headache for us. No, we got their edge rusher and Bryce Huff, and that's a crazy situation. But he's not going to play unless he gets a new contract. His foot is in the sand, and it ain't coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's cool stuff going on with the Eagles. Earl, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the Commanders, if that's okay with you, sir.
You're already next.
All right, let's go. So, few things. Did you guys get to watch that documentary I shared with you guys on the Slack about the Commander's name and all that stuff?
I did.
I saw it.
What did you guys think of it?
Yeah, it was a good documentary. It's just, I really hope they can at least find a common ground with just finding a solid name and just try to.
I know.
Try the honor. Yeah, it sounds like.
I feel about it.
It sounds like maybe I think the best for fans of the old logo, the best case scenario is that the logo comes back with a different name. I don't think that's going to happen. I think what's going to happen is at the new stadium, or even within the current logo, like they add aspects of the old logo to honor it. Like I said before, I actually really like that Washington with the feathers logo, the W with the feather. I thought that looked cool. I'm not gonna lie. I thought that looked cool. I think that's a good compromise there. That's just me.
Yeah, that was their
Yeah.
throwback.
I honestly think that I just want you guys to come up with a name and stick with it.
Yeah, that would be nice. That would be
Like
nice
it's
too.
been so many years of just like Washington football team, Washington Commanders. Do we like the Commanders? Like I just want you guys to get a solid name.
Nobody likes the Commanders.
Well, that's your name now. So
I like the Washington football team.
I did
liked
no,
it too.
no, I did not.
liked it too.
No, that's horrible.
Well, I did watch it. I watched that YouTube video as well, and it seems like to me their move in new stadium is being held hostage by them.
By the senator, yeah.
Yeah, the senator who wants the logo to come back. Now,
well, he to explain it a little bit more, he represents Montana, and the Blackfoot tribe from Montana came up with the original logo. It was based off a chieftain. A family made the logo based off of that. The Wetzel family, they're still involved. They're part of this whole entire thing. The grandson of the guy that made it still is fighting for the logo to come back or to be honored in some type of way. And that's what's holding up the new stadium coming back to DC. And I know that they have had discussions, and the discussions have been good so far. So hopefully we can come to something in the near future so that we can start building a new stadium. So that's the hope. That's the hope. But getting on to stuff that's actually going on the field now, the Commanders' unofficial depth chart has come out. And a few things have kind of popped my eyes on that. So I'm going to go through this with you guys here. I'm going to start with offense. No surprise here. Terry McLaurin, starting wide receiver. We also have Jahad Donson, number 2. No surprise. I thought it was going to be Luke McCaffrey, number 3. That is not the case. It is actually Olamide Zaccheaus. And it looks like De'Ami Brown's going to be 4th, Luke McCaffrey 5th, Jamison Crowder 6th. Jamison Crowder is going to be the punt returner too. So that's interesting right there for me personally. It doesn't look like Marcus Rosemary's Jack Sane is going to make the roster at this point, which is a shame because I had high hopes for him. The biggest news in this unofficial depth chart, Jaden Daniels is the starting quarterback. He will be starting in Saturday's game against New England. Hold your applause. It's okay. You don't need to applause. I'm applauding in my heart here. But I mean, look, it was a long time coming. We all knew it was coming, but it's a long time coming. Now, outside of that, Brian Robinson and Austin Eckler were both named starters at the running back position. Interesting there. And then tight end. Zach Ertz is number 1, no surprise. But John Bates, not Ben Sinnott, but John Bates is number 2. Ben Sinnott's 3. Cole Turner's 4. We waived Amani Rogers. Colson Yankoff is still on the team. Whoop, whoop.
I was just gonna say, where is he in the depth?
He's number 4. He was number 5 until Armani was waived. By the way, Eagles picked up Rogers, so congrats, Maurice.
Yes.
So that's that. Offensive line shaked out pretty much how we thought it was going to. Brandon Coleman, on this unofficial depth chart, has been named left tackle. Nick Allegretti is left guard. Tyler Biadasz, center. Sam Cosmi, right guard. And Andrew Wiley, despite not practicing for a good portion of this training camp, is currently right tackle. I don't know how long that will stand up. I would suspect if he can't go, Cornelius Lucas would go. So before I get to defense, any thoughts on the offense depth chart here, guys?
And Zach Ertz is your number 1 receiver.
Well, tight end.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like apparently looks really good in training camp, especially in the red zone. They're targeting him a lot there. Apparently,
Lucas,
he's been reinvigorated since coming to DC.
Can I ask you a question? I don't know if we spoke about this, and if we did, I'm sorry if I forgot. You know, my brain's been all over the place.
You're good.
What is your record prediction for the Redskins?
We have not done that episode
yet.
yet. That's probably going to be our next episode. I would suspect would be our next episode. Would be the record prediction.
No prediction.
We got to do it. We got to do it, buddy. It's for the fans. We gotta do it for the fans.
Earl, you have to.
Do it for the fans. He ain't gonna do it.
I don't want to do it
for the fans.
but I have to do it.
Do it for the fans.
Well, okay.
We'll see next week.
Okay.
Don't answer the question regarding the number. What do you think it's like? You potentially are a playoff contender.
We are going to be around 500. That is what I'm thinking at right now. Below or above, I'm not sure, but we are going to be around 500.
Okay.
So that is my rough estimation right now.
Okay.
Now, defensive line so far is edges are starters are Clean Farrell and Dorrance Armstrong. D tackles, no surprise, Payne and Allen. Outside linebacker, this is a surprising one because I know Earl has said in the past that that Dan Quinn likes to go small, but he actually went big here with Dante Fowler as an outside linebacker. Middle linebacker, Bobby Wagner. Outside linebacker, Frankie Louvu. Jamin Davis is second behind Dante Fowler on that depth chart. Jordan McGee, rookie, and Anthony Pittman are all the second-team guys there.
He'll be on the edge at some point.
I'm thinking that the outside linebacker that has Fowler and Davis are going to be exclusively just for rushing. That's my prediction there. And then nickel corner, no surprise, Mikey Samersil. That's not a surprise there. He's the only corner that's really had it locked in since early on. Benjamin St. Juste. And here's a surprising one. Not Emmanuel Forbes, but Michael Davis is the third cornerback.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, where's Forbes?
He's behind St. Juste on the depth chart.
So wait, does that mean he was going to play slot?
No. Slot is nickel is going to be Mikey Samersil.
Okay.
Now there are encouraging reports from training camp about Forbes. As I said last week, he has gained weight. He does look more competitive, but I think Michael Davis coming over from, I believe, the Chargers. I think just having a veteran there with two young guys and St. Juste and Samersil is just probably what the team at this moment feels more comfortable with. I think that third spot is still kind of up. I think Forbes, if he has a great preseason, could probably get it. But as of this time, going into this game, it looks like it's Michael Davis's. And then, of course, strong safety, Jeremy Chin. They're going to use him a lot as a blitzer, as a middle linebacker. And then free safety, Quan Martin. Shout out to him getting that last safety spot in the starting lineup. And I don't know if you guys saw, but we do have a kicking battle now between Ramiz Ahmed, and who we signed after the whole entire Brendan McManus fiasco. And we just picked up Riley Patterson off of waivers from Jacksonville. So right now, Ahmed is the starter, but I suspect whoever has the best preseason will win that job. And like I said before, Jamison Crowder, kickoff returner, and Noah I can't say his name.
Ibenagami.
Thank you, is going to be the kickoff returner with Casimir Allen. So, yeah. That's it. Any reactions to those depth charts or any questions?
No, I mean, let's just see how it translates week one.
Yeah, we definitely will. And
I think that you guys in the division are the most it can go either way.
Yeah.
Because, you're still building and, brand new ownership, brand new coaching staff, brand new quarterback, brand new basically everything. Mm-hmm. So I'm interested to see if it gels immediately or if you still have some growing pains.
Yeah, I'm interested to see as well. And piece of news, I've been tooting the Brandon Ayuk horn all summer, but it does not appear to be so at the moment. The Commanders took themselves out of the race for him. It appears that he prefers the Steelers at this point over the Browns, and the Patriots also bowed out of that race as well. So, interesting note there with Brandon Ayuk, but that's pretty much all I got.
Do you need a hug?
I'm going to be okay. I'm just going to go cuddle up in bed after this and just cry myself to sleep.
Okay.
I'm joking, guys. I'm joking. Gosh.
I can't. I knew you were joking.
No.
All right.
But no, I mean, look, it
that's
would be
all with your
cool.
news?
I mean, look, that's all my team news. But look, like I said, if we have to pay an arm and a leg for him, plus, his salary, I don't know if the front office wants to do that. So
Why don't you write him a letter?
I don't think it would get to him.
You never know.
You know what? I think Earl should write his front office a letter because
That's a good point.
So I think that's a good transition.
I can just send them a couple. I can send them a couple clips of Earl from this podcast.
I know.
Yeah,
I was
right.
Absolutely could.
compile all of Earl's thoughts and send them in a voice message to Jerry Jones.
I was about to say, man,
I
you missed out
actually
last
want to
week.
have a sit down with him and his son, just to have a good
Both of them.
conversation to see where it is. And I'll make sure I'm cordial and calm, cool, and collected. Because at some point, I know it's security and everything, and me getting there would definitely be an honor, but I'll be on a mission. So I guess I'll start with my team news. I'm going to start off with a little bit of sad news at the beginning. Former Cowboys running back Dwayne Thomas passed away at the age of 77.
Oh.
He actually was one of the running backs that won the Super Bowl with Roger Staubach, their first Super Bowl under Tom Landry. He was very quiet, but he was a very peaceful man. And I actually have him as one of the Mount Rushmore running backs for the Cowboys. He was actually one of the first running backs there that really set a name for himself. Over time, back in 1971, that was his rookie year, he had 793 yards. He led the league with 11 touchdowns. He had 13 pass attempts, as well as over 153 yards and 2 scores. He actually was a key component where he combined for 205 yards and 3 touchdowns in the Super Bowl against the Dolphins that they won 24-3. And overall, I know that he was with Dallas before I was born, but I definitely wanted to send my condolences to his family and Cowboys Nation for those who knew him, and just know that he was a phenomenal football player. So rest in heaven, Dwayne Thomas.
Absolutely.
My next news, I'm gonna start off with some things that's been going on in practice. So far, practice has been good. I'm proud of the squad. I'm definitely having faith in the coaches. Dak is looking sharp. The wide receiver core is claiming their chance with CeeDee Lamb being put on the not report list. So they're really trying to figure out how they can bring CeeDee in with the contract. And the running back room is proving their worth, where it's definitely up in the air to see how things will play out on the depth chart. I also have the projected 53-man roster. I'll go into that in a little bit. The defense is making me proud. I appreciate everything that I'm seeing from the defense under what Zimmer is teaching them and the other coaches on the defense are teaching them. I appreciate them all. And I really feel like Mike Zimmer was the first round draft pick for Dallas, especially with this culture change that he's trying to bring to the defense. It's a lot of young guys, a lot of veteran guys, and being able to intertwine them together to get them to gel well. I'm really enjoying what I'm seeing from camp with the defense. It's iron sharpens iron, steel sharpens steel. Both the offense and defense are working for everything. And it's the best that I've seen them in practice going after one another. It's like one may have a good day, other position will respond, and it's just back and forth. And they're being more violent. They're being more smart with what they're doing in practice. And I really feel like Zimmer is definitely that key component that really can get Dallas where they need to be, especially with the defense. And I also believe that this year we will see if Dan Quinn was actually the low-key Kellen Moore of the defense.
Hey now.
I said what I said.
I know you said what you said. Why are you taking shots right now, man?
He took a shot at 2 teams.
Technically.
Yeah, he did. He did. Earl, low key here, taking shots at us. Come on now, man.
And I'm just responding to what I know from you.
Hey, I have not taken a single shot at the Cowboys today.
I'm not saying today. But overall, I'm really enjoying what I'm seeing from practice. We have a joint practice with the Los Angeles Rams tomorrow, so I'm going to tune into that. And then on Sunday, we have our first preseason game against the Los Angeles Rams. So it's a double whammy there. And I'm going to go over to the projection with the roster itself. And
excuse me 1 second, Earl. I made a mistake earlier. I said the Patriots preseason game. No, it's the Jets preseason game this time. I apologize for the mistake earlier, guys.
Oh, no, you're good, man. You're good. Oh, before I get to the roster itself, Dallas made a couple of signs. They signed some players, mainly all defense, where they signed defensive tackle Albert Huggins. He basically was a guy under Zimmer back in Minnesota. And they signed 2 more linebackers, which brings their total to linebackers at a total of 9 at camp. I'm loving it.
Wait. Hold on a second, Earl. The Cowboys signed Albert
Huggins.
Yes, that's my cousin. Yes.
No, really?
Wait, are you kidding? You serious?
No, I'm not joking at all.
You have a cousin in the NFL and you didn't tell us?
He played with Clemson.
He played with the Eagles.
And you didn't care to tell us this, sir? No, like people listening, Maurice has never mentioned this before.
As well as with Huggins, we signed 2 more linebackers, which brought our total of linebackers in camp to 9. And each linebacker has their own component piece that really brings a dynamic to the linebacker room. I feel like Zimmer has resurrected the linebacker room, and I'm loving what I'm seeing from every linebacker. I feel like Eric Kendricks, Damone Clark, even Micah, and Maris Leofau, they're getting their reps. And Demarion Overshown coming off an ACL tear is definitely utilizing his speed out on the field. I'm seeing it all under full display. I even saw Maris Leofau take out Tyler Smith, like pretty much pancake this guard, like literally just put him on his back. This guy is a freaking missile that really, with the linebacker core now, they're WMD. If you don't know what that is, they are weapons of mass destruction. Because the more that I'm seeing these guys out there on the field playing, they're flying everywhere. They're designated in different spots. You don't know where this player is going to play. And I love that design, especially with the defensive mind of Zimmer. So kudos to him. The 2 linebackers that we signed was Darius Harris and Nick Vigil. I think one of the linebackers was on the Kansas City Chiefs. So we definitely have someone on the Chiefs that has won so far 3 Super Bowls. So hopefully that can spread some leadership as well as just being able to have a good chemistry with the linebacker group in camp. We moved CeeDee Lamb to the reserve, did not report due to his contract. We waived Brian Vaughns, and we put Sam Williams on injured reserve out for the season. We also got Trayvon Diggs off of the PUP list, and he's out there practicing, but they're currently monitoring him right now. And let's see what else I have. I got all this like written down. Okay, so I'm gonna do a quick brief over the unofficial depth chart. You have CeeDee Lamb at number 1, and then you got Brandon Cooks at wide receiver 2. Well, correction, have Jalen Tolbert at wide receiver 2, having Brandon Cooks at wide receiver 3. So you have that. Then you have Turpin, you have Jalen Marino Cropper, you have Tyron Billy Johnson, you have Jalen Brooks and Ryan Flournoy. And the quarterback room is where it is, with Dak at 1, Cooper at 2, Lance at 3. The running back room, they have it where Zeke is 1, Rico is 2, Royce is 3, Hunter Lupke's in the fullback spot, and then you have Malik Davis and Deuce Vaughn very back of the depth chart. The offensive line, we have Brock Hoffman at center, and then we got Cooper Beebe at second string, where I think that will possibly change as the season goes along, because from the looks of it, the offensive line is getting bigger and more physical. And I want them to try to recreate the Great Wall of Dallas, but this is under a 2.0 version. We have Chuma Doga at the left tackle spot at 1. We have Tyler Guyton at the 2 spot, but I think that's going to change as well, where I believe Tyler Guyton is going to be the week 1 starter at left tackle. You have Tyler Smith at left guard. You have right tackle Terrence Steele, and then right tackle Terrence Steele. You have right guard Zach Martin. I'm still just trying to figure out why Josh Ball and Matt Walesko are still on this team. They have done nothing. I repeat, nothing for this team but get hurt. So I hope they don't take a spot from a guy who's earned a spot. The tight end room, we have Jake Ferguson at 1. I'm shocked about this, but they have Luke Schoonmaker at 2. Then you have Peyton Hendershot at 3. Then you have John Stevens Jr. at 4. And then Brevin Spann-Ford at 5. I believe that's going to change. Where Schoonmaker right now, he injured himself again. And I really think him missing days is really hurting his chance to be able to be up the depth chart. So only time will tell with that. What do you guys think on the offense so far? I'm going to shift over to the defense.
Who did you say was RB1?
Zeke.
Okay. How has he looked in camp overall?
He looks lighter. He's around the weight he was in college. He still has that burst I was telling you about, where he still got some juice in the tank. And overall, I think with him and the pair of Rico, it's going to be a change of pace with it. And I believe having Ezekiel Elliott and Hunter Luepke in the backfield, that's going to really help him out, especially under the line that's more physical. Because the more physical you are at the line of scrimmage, the more Zeke will be able to get those dirty yards. And I think that's what they were missing last season.
Okay. Yeah, with Zeke, I think it really comes down to goal line carries. But overall, how many carries do you think Zeke will have throughout the whole season? More than 500?
Yeah. Carries or yards?
No, carries.
Wait, you say carries? Yeah, it's gonna be less. I think the more that they're getting Rico Dowdle involved, they believe he's the one that has the juice, but it's more than just having juice. You got to have power as well, and I think Rico lacks that. While Zeke has that, but he has less of juice in the tank, where he's utilizing more under a physical base. He's definitely a good pass catching back. He still has that under his tool utilage and his pass blocking. Like, he's probably one of the best pass blocking running backs in the league that no one kind of talks about. So overall, I think Zeke is going to I know he's going to get the first carry week 1, but as the season goes along, I'm looking for Dallas to at least have 4 running backs available. And then Royce Freeman is another guy who's a big back that is physical. So it just depends on how they're going to utilize this running back room. And I'm very excited to see it, because the more that they're utilizing different running backs, it's definitely going to show matchup nightmares to whoever's going to be in the backfield, depending on who they're playing. I've also seen Kavontae Turpin take some snaps at running back too. So we got gadget guys, and I feel like Mike McCarthy's going to utilize these guys the right way. And we have the tight ends to make it work. We're just waiting for CD to get in camp, but the receivers so far, they're holding their own and they're claiming their chance like they need it, they want it. So I'm excited to see that, whereas nothing that's pretty much took a handicap on the receivers with CD not there. It's actually giving the young receivers a chance to show what they have. I'm going to quickly go over the defense real quick, but not all of them. I'm just going to hit key guys. You got the edge with DeMarcus Lawrence and then Micah Parsons. And then from there, you got Viliami Fehoko, as well as Marshawn Nealon, the rookie, at the edge. Defensive tackle, you got Osa, you got nose tackle Mozzie. And then if you plug in Albert Hudgens into that mix, he's going to probably be under the nose tackle spot instead of the D tackle. And then you have Denzel Daxon and Justin Rogers as rookies as well. So I think that's going to be more of the eye test to see how the defensive tackles play during preseason. I'm going to shift over. Already went over the linebackers. We're going to go to the cornerbacks. We have Trayvon Diggs and Deron Bland at cute cornerback 1 and 2. We have in the nickel Jordan Lewis. We have Kalen Carson at cornerback 2. He's been excelling in camp, just stacking on good days after good days. And another guy is Eric Scott Jr. He's looking that he's showing up, but hopefully in preseason he can do a little better than he did last year as a rookie. The safety room I feel is the deepest room that any guy who stands out on the field will make a play. So right now we have Donovan Wilson at strong safety, and then we have Malik Hooker at free safety. Then after that we have Marquise Bell, Wanye Thomas, Israel Mukwamu. We have Imani Johnson, rookie who's making waves as well, where I believe he might be be a key guy in the 53-man roster. And then the kicker, is Brandon Aubrey, aka Butters, and then Brian Anger, the punter, Trent Sieg, the long snapper, and yeah, that's the roster. Overall, I think it's not bad. It's just I think some of the number 1 spots will change as we lead up to week 1. But right now, everybody is earning their keep and trying to make it that they make the 53-man roster. And I'm really enjoying what I'm seeing at camp. And yeah, I'm just ready for the preseason game, ready to get this thing rolling.
That's fair, man. That's fair. So let's go ahead and go to our social media stuff. And Maurice, you are up first.
All right, so the mailbag this week is brought to us by the Washington Commanders. And I have one question. What do you think of Jaden Daniels' leadership so far in training camp?
Well, I mean, he's been in college. He had been in college for a while, so he's a little bit more mature than some of the other guys coming out. I mean, besides Bo Nix, who's like pretty old. No, look, I've been hearing good things in terms of like him connecting with his wideouts. If they miss something on a route, he immediately goes to them and talks it out. And you hear when it was announced that he would be the starter for this preseason game and that he was starter on the unofficial depth chart, DQ was talking about how he's met every expectation, as a quarterback for the team so far. So, that just really gets me in a good place. He comes in earlier than most. He's one of the first people there at the facility. He works hard. He's a good kid. He stays out of trouble. Like everything that you want from your quarterback, that's what he does. So that's that. I can't ask for more.
All right. So that's the mailbag. We only have one question this week. That's cool.
So, hey, it happens.
That happens. So, Earl, it's that time.
Yes, it's that time for Who's That Football Player? Ding. This football player played with the New York Giants. Back in the 1989 season, this player had 28 rushes, 117 yards, 34 receptions for 531 yards, 4 TDs. He had 46 receptions for 582 yards and 1 touchdown. Returns. Oh, my bad. Yeah. 46 returns, 582 yards and 1 touchdown. His career awards, he's a Super Bowl champion as well as a 2-time Pro Bowler. Guys, who's that football player?
Now, normally Mal would have picked this, but actually Maurice knows who it is. So, Maurice, you can't answer it because we were on a podcast with somebody else and they suggested this because I was trying to figure it out, who that football player should be. So,
I'm going to be honest. I thought so much about this, and because I don't resort to Google, guys. I don't ever Google anything. So I don't know who this one is, and I'm interested to find out.
Earl, do you know who this is?
I really don't know. I'm going to throw out a name. Was it Otis Anderson?
No.
Okay.
It was Dave Maggette.
Dave Maggette. That name sounds familiar.
He should. He won a Super Bowl with the Giants in the 90s. He was their kickoff returner. He was a 2-time Pro Bowler. No, not kickoff. Sorry. He was a punt returner. Yeah, punt returner. He was there. Well, I mean, he did kickoffs too. So, but he was more known for his kickoffs. Yeah. So, Yeah, that season he was a rookie. He was a rookie that season. He played with the Giants and the Patriots and the Jets during his career. He played from 89 to 98. Um, honestly, when the person that suggested it suggested, I'm like, say what? Who's that? And he's like, exactly. Stumped them. I'm like,
Made the Pro Bowl his rookie year. That's pretty impressive.
he made the Pro Bowl in his rookie year as well as the '96 season with New England. Yeah, he was kind of like he was mainly used for kick, returns, but he was a gadget guy that did a little bit of everything on the team. Never really, was never really a first option. Never didn't really start. I think the most games he started as like a running back was 3 during his career. So like he wasn't like he was more of a second stringer or like third down back by seams of it. So yeah, now you gotta ask your dad about him, about Dave Maggette.
Oh, I have a little nugget about that.
Mm-hmm.
Also on that team during the time, Mark Ingram's dad was a receiver with the Giants when they won that Super Bowl.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep, Mark Ingram Senior.
Huh. Go figure. Okay. Well, the more you know, I suppose, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, but as soon as I had posted it, Mal messaged me with her selection. I'm like, "Yep, you're too late." She's like, "No."
Dude, I was like, no way. I had a good one, but next time we'll use that.
Yeah. But that's okay. That's okay. Next time. It's there. You just gotta remind me next time. Yeah. Let's keep on going. I thought that was a good one. Nobody got that one on social media, but to be fair, it's a hard one. I mean, usually
it was
Earl
a good.
gets those.
It was. Hey, I'm human, so.
Yeah. So anyway, Mao, you're up next.
All right, guys. So let's get to our poll questions. So first, we're going to do the Giants poll question, and then Lucas, I know we have a Commanders poll question as well. So for the Giants poll question, is this a make or break year for Giants quarterback Daniel Jones? This was an overwhelming yes. 89% of people said yes. The other 11% said no. I personally agree with that. Real quick, we'll go around. Does everyone agree with that?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely guaranteed.
Yeah, I think Daniel Jones has this one last year. I think based off of Hard Knocks and what Joe Shane said, I think that he's got to prove it this year or he's done so. So now we'll move on to our Commanders question. Which team will land Brandon Ayuk? The Commanders, the Steelers, Patriots, or another team? Most people said the Steelers, and streets are saying that the Steelers are going to land Brandon Ayuk, and I kind of agree with that. What do you guys think?
It seems to be the likely outcome at this point. Did we have a third one about which head coach was on the hot seat the most?
Yes, I believe that one's on Instagram.
I think I posted it on.
No,
Maurice. Yeah, Maurice put it on Twitter. You have to go to the replies.
And then our third poll question, which was which head coach is on the hot seat more? Most people voted Mike McCarthy at 45%. Nick Sirianni came in at 35%. Brian Daboll at 20%, and Dan Quinn at 0%. And we discussed this, guys, on the space. That was kind of the order we had too.
I think that's fair. I mean, look, Dan Quinn's not going to be
Sirianni after that, Daboll, then Dan Quinn. I mean, he's brand new, can't be on the hot seat.
Like very rarely does a first-year head coach get fired during the season. That happens more in like the NBA than the NFL.
Right.
Yeah, I know people are already to the point saying it's McCarthy, but they got to look under the hood at front office. So, but yeah, I'm sticking with Mike McCarthy. I think with him being able to coach the offense in his first year and still be one of the top 5 in offense, that shows credibility to what he's capable of doing. So I can't wait to see what he does in year 2 under the offense.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I think the person that's probably on the hottest seat is McCarthy too, but they're all hot seats. Let's be clear.
Yep.
Yeah, and on that note, let's go to team trivia. The question was, who are the 2 kickoff returners that are tied for most in kickoffs returned for touchdown in Eagles franchise history. I'll start with Mal. Mal, who do you think the two players are?
Repeat the question one more time.
Which two former Philadelphia Eagles are tied for the most punts returned for touchdowns in franchise history?
All right. Well, I'm going to go with one. Deshaun Jackson.
What is your second guess?
Sorry, I'm marinating, guys. I don't mean to take so much time.
That's a horrible impersonation of Jeopardy, sir.
Yeah, yes. That is not okay. Alex Trebek is rolling over.
Oh my god. I don't know if I have a second. Oh, is it Sproles?
I'm not going to tell until everybody's done. Maurice, who are your two guesses?
I know, so you can go to Earl.
Okay, Earl, who do you know? Who do you think it is?
I think it's probably Deshaun Jackson and Brian Westbrook.
Okay. So, and 13 rings. NBA Now and Then guest on Instagram via Kai. I can't even say that last name. And Brian Westbrook. Those are wrong. Mal is correct.
What was that? You mean sick of him?
Wait, it was Deshaun. You talking about?
It was Deshaun Jackson and Darren Sproles.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, good job, Mal.
Oh my god. Well, Sproles came into my mind because I remembered like a vivid moment of watching Sproles. I don't remember how many years ago, like return for a touchdown, and that's why I was like, I'm gonna just throw his name in there.
He played for the Eagles from 2014 to 2019.
And obviously you're aware of Deshaun Jackson.
Yes.
I'm personally aware of Deshaun Jackson.
Oh, yeah, that's forever.
Thank you very much, Maurice.
Coughlin chewed that punter out.
Shout out Matt Dodge.
That was the worst thing that ever happened to me. I still don't forget that.
And it was during the holiday season, too.
It was ruined my Christmas.
It was a Christmas present of just agony to the Giants fans. I remember that game because I was just like, they ain't gonna kick it to Deshaun Jackson. Kicked it right to him.
Did.
I was like, you fools. You fools, he's gonna score. He's gonna score.
I'm surprised nobody said Brian Mitchell. I thought Maurice would have said Brian Mitchell trying to go.
Well, I was thinking of him as well. I knew it was a running back.
Well, he was a returner as well. I mean, he played for 3 teams in the division. So, yeah. Look, good guess there, guys. I thought that was a hard one, but apparently not. So, But yeah, the other person. So Brian, but NBA Now and Then guess Brian Westbrook and VAI is the first name.
Sikahema.
How do you say that? I can't.
Shobada, what?
What? What Earl said.
Wait, what was it? It was say it
again. Sikahema.
Sikahema.
Played from 92 to 93. You can tell the person that runs the Twitter for NBA Now and Then is a very is aged like fine wine and throw those back. I'm sorry, Uriah. I'm sorry. Uriah is a buddy of mine. I'm sorry. I'm just giving him grief. No, Uriah likes the older players. So I'm just giving him grief. And he's older than the rest of us. So, there's that too. Anyway.
Hey, Uriah, salute, sir. Salute.
He was on our Eagles. He was on our Eagles space, wasn't he, Maurice? Or was he on the Cowboys one?
I think he came to both.
Okay, yeah, but he spoke on the Eagles one. I remember that.
Yeah.
So anyway, shout out to Uriah and to NBA Now and Then, NBA Greatest Comparisons. We're going to go ahead and I believe it's time to wrap things up. So Mal, you're up this week.
Thank you guys so much for listening to us this week. Please make sure you subscribe to us on Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Apple Music at 13 Rings and NFC East Podcasts. Please make sure you follow us on social media, our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at 13 Rings and NFC East Podcasts. And make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube at 13 Rings and NFC East Podcasts. Everybody have a great night.
Peace.
See ya.
Blessings.